Welcome to our podcast, Fuck the Diet Cycle, with myself, Lauren Knight, and Abby Lodge. This podcast is for you if you're ready to end the diet cycle. So grab yourself a cuppa, get comfy, and let's jump straight into this week's episode. Navigating around the chocolate this Easter. So for me, Easter was the bane of my life, and I'm sure by now you all know that I am a complete chocolate addict, recovering chocolate addict, but it was absolutely there, and it's something that I still need to work on. So to have Easter eggs in the shops from January onwards, it's really tough. So if you're listening in and you are also somebody that feels the need to have chocolate all the time, I get you. And we are going to help you navigate it so that you don't feel like you're missing out or like you need to go and hide yourself in a cupboard.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that you've said there is they have literally been in the shop since January. Everywhere you look, on the TV, whatever, it's like this Easter, enjoy. You know, I'm doing the M&S advert now. But yes, Easter, you know, the kind of signature point of Easter is chocolate and eggs. But it's taken away the true value of Easter. What actually Easter is obviously it's a religious celebration, and it's about family. But unfortunately, these marketeers, it's their job to make us feel like unless you are going to be going absolutely crazy on Easter eggs and getting yourself into a chocolate coma and looking like Augustus Gloop, you are not going to enjoy Easter. When it couldn't be any further from the truth. But there is the flip side of that is people who are on a weight loss journey who go, it's Easter, I can't possibly have any chocolate. And that's not true either.
No, you've always got a choice. And something that's helped myself and Abby on our weight loss journey, and even to this day in maintenance, 7 years later, it's the question, is this worth it? If you can stand there and say to yourself, do you know what, actually, yep, I understand what's in this chocolate egg or this hot cross bun or whatever else it might be. And you say, do you know what? The consequence of this is worth it. I'm going to go and enjoy this and I'm going to eat it completely guilt-free. We want you to eat it. We don't want you to deny yourself of that. And it's the fault of telling yourself, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't do that. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to rebel, and the chances are you're going to go on a binge, and then you won't enjoy it. You will feel guilty, and then you'll kick yourself. And for some of you, that will be the end of your weight loss journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said about this, like rebelling, it's like a child thing, like that childlike behavior. But actually knowing if it is going to be worth it. So for me, I'm not a big chocolate person, really. I've never, as a kid, wasn't really fussed about Easter eggs. They would still be going kind of July, August, like I've still got them. But for me now, yes, you know, it is Easter coming up. I actually prefer the Gillian seashell things.
Oh, yes.
But I don't want the egg. I don't want the egg because I won't eat the egg. That's the thing. So I've said to James, if you are going to get me anything, just get me a box of those chocolates because I know that I will enjoy them. If you just get me an egg, I'll just eat it for the sake of it, and I don't really want it. I'm not going to enjoy it. It's just going to be a waste. It's just dead calories. If you know there is something that you really, really enjoy, like me with my Gillian chocolate or whatever, bloody have it. Bloody get it, have it and enjoy it and taste it because that's the main thing. If you're going to be going, oh yeah, I really want an Easter egg, so I'm going to get that £1.50 little city one from the shops, that's not going to cut it for you. That is not going to cut it. You're going to end up having that and about 15 other tiny little eggs because, oh, they're tiny, I can have, you know, hundreds of them. Actually choose something that you know, it might be a hotel chocolate, it might be something that's a bit more richer tasting chocolate or whatever. Have something that you know you're going to enjoy and you're going to taste because there ain't no point if you're not going to taste it. When you do taste chocolate, yes, it does taste nice and you know it brings out the senses, but again we need to be incorporating those senses into this eating experience and not just have it as head down, scoff in your face, not coming up for air and then thinking, shit, I feel really guilty. Oh, tomorrow's Monday, but it's actually Easter Monday. So we'll start again Tuesday, and then we all know we can't possibly start anything on a Tuesday. So then it waits again, and then chances are this time next year you're going to be in exactly the same position.
Yeah, and I think you need to be honest with yourself. So for me, if I take myself back before I lost my weight, before I worked on my mindset and relationship towards food, I know that I had every excuse under the sun. I would be buying multiple chocolates for the kids. I would be buying chocolates in the sale or when they was on offer because I'm saving money. And actually, in reality, the kids were getting Easter eggs from family members. The kids were getting Easter eggs from myself and James. And guess what? The kids weren't eating those Easter eggs because mummy was. So actually, those family members were buying me Easter eggs because my children are not that fussed by it. They're really not fussed by chocolate, not because I've made them that way per se, but they just know, do you know what? Chocolate isn't really my thing. So I don't need to eat it. And they're able to open up an Easter egg, take a few nibbles, and leave it on the side, which then gave me the green light to go and finish off whatever they'd left on the side because I just couldn't control myself. So therefore, when I was in the supermarkets buying them on offer or telling people, yeah, of course the kids love that one. Why don't you buy them a twirl one? Why don't you get them a cream egg? My kids didn't order that. And this sounds awful, but it's just honesty. Like this is raw honesty. And if you sit down and take a moment, if you are able to put yourself in that zone, I know that people will be able to relate to me. So what do I do now to make it different? I make sure that certain family members don't buy my kids chocolate eggs. They get them something else. So for example, my mum and dad have bought them like scrapbook stuff. And they are doing an Easter egg hunt with them at the weekend, but it's going to be little chocolates that they are going to eat that day. So therefore, it's not going to be in my face and they're not going to get big, massive eggs from them. They're going to go and do an activity. I do not buy chocolate eggs early. If it just means a saving of 50p or gaining half a stone, I'm going to go with just ignoring that 50p because it's not worth it for me. And like Abby said, I have chosen an egg from James that is higher quality. So I've gone for a Lindor egg. And yes, they are higher in calorie, but they are also richer in taste. So you can't binge on that. I will be satisfied by it and it won't trigger me to go and eat more. So it's really important that you're honest about your situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said there, that Lindor egg, yes, it may be higher calories, but things like that are that little bit more luxurious, you can't physically binge on them because they are very sickly. So again, that's helping with your portion control rather than those shitty little £1.50 eggs. I was going to say 99p, but nothing's 99p anymore, is it? And that they are not going to satisfy you. But let's not forget here that Easter there are other kind of foods that come involved with Easter as well. So you've got your hot cross buns, which again have been in the shops. I mean, I think James come home with hot cross buns like end of January. I was like, what are you doing? Oh, I see hot cross buns. I thought we do not like hot cross buns. I think that, again, that's just a marketing thing of they make them sound like they're going to be really nice, but actually they taste like shit. And if anybody does like them, then that's on you. But again, there's the hot cross buns. There's your lamb roast, which again, a roast dinner isn't going to kill your calories and it's not going to send you crazy overboard. But what is everything that you have with it. So yes, you can have your roast potatoes, but if you're having 15,000 roast potatoes with your leg of lamb, again, that is going to impact your journey. So there are lighter options to have. It doesn't mean you can't have your roast potatoes, yes, but sitting down at the table on Easter Sunday or whenever you're going to do it and actually engaging in conversation with your family, nobody being on their phone scrolling, because that for me, I can't stand scrolling at the dinner table, and actually enjoying what you're eating, because you're going to be able to take into consideration what your body's telling you, those hunger and fullness cues of okay, I feel satisfied now, I don't want to eat to the point of having to undo my jeans and falling asleep on the sofa mid-afternoon, a bit like Christmas. Because I think Easter, especially in the UK, it's very much seen as second Christmas, like in terms of the food. And yeah, you can still absolutely enjoy the food, but it's about knowing your limits.
Yeah, and still keeping those rules in place for yourself. So having your roast dinner on a side plate. So we've actually got a Easter guide, and within that Easter guide, there is a recipe for a roast dinner that is less than 600 calories. There's nothing missing on that. You're having your lamb, you're having your stuffing, your Yorkshire pudding, your roast potatoes, your gravy, your parsnips, your vegetables. Like, there is nothing missing. You do not need to miss out or feel like you have to miss out. That is not what we're saying. We're just saying be mindful, ask yourself the question, is this worth it? If it is, make sure you're sitting down to enjoy it, not whilst you're walking along. Don't just snatch it off the side, shove it in, and not actually acknowledge what you've eaten. Still drink your water. If you are not tracking your calories, then I'm going to tell you do, because it's so important to understand what you're putting into your system. There is a difference between going, yeah, do you know what? I really fancy that hot cross bun and eating it, or knowing, right, this hot cross bun is going to cost me X amount of calories. The butter, yes, you need to count your butter, is also going to cost me X amount of calories. Is this worth it? Do I want to spend my allowance on this? Yep, it's still worth it. Go ahead and eat it. Rather than eating it and going, oh my God, that cost me 300 calories and it wasn't even worth it. Educate yourself, understand what you're eating, and make that decision. Nobody's telling you you can't. You can eat whatever you want, but ask yourself, do I actually want it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to round up there, something that I do with my children, if they have eggs left over, so obviously they get eggs, my kids are pretty young, but this year I've been like, you get one egg each, and then I'm just getting them like the little tiny like chocolatey figure things. Like, I don't want loads of bloody eggs because we're living in a caravan, for God's sake. I've got nowhere to put anything. So this year you're not having anything. But for those people that kids get mountains and mountains and mountains of chocolate and it's still sitting on the side a week later, get your children to pick some eggs that they're going to donate to the local food bank or something like that, or wherever, because there are going to be families and children at the moment that aren't going to be able to have any chocolate. Rather than it sitting on your side tempting you, calling your name every single night for the next 2 weeks, get rid of it, and again, that's educating your children that we don't need to eat it because it's there. There are, families that are less fortunate than us, and it helps educate your children. And let's face it, our children mirror us. So the behavior that we kind of display, that is what our children are going to take into their adulthood. We don't want, bad relationship with food for kids now to then struggle as they're getting older.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media using the links below. And don't forget, new episodes come out every single Sunday.